G'day there everyone, it is I, Banosh, and in today's video we'll be doing a different video because today we'll be talking about the good old Rell Seas and everything that you need to know before you start Rell Seas. But before I say anything, there's a few things I want to say, which one of them is that if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe and all that shenanigans because it does help out our channel a lot and of course it is greatly appreciated. And since this video has multiple parts in it, I want to give you the freedom to watch the parts that you want to watch, so I'll put everything in chapters in the comment section and in the pinned comments so you can watch exactly what you want to watch. Guess with that, let's go straight back into the video. So let's start off this video with something nice, strong, and something that we all want to know about, and that is devil fruits. With devil fruits at the moment, the only confirmed way to get devil fruits right now, as we know, is to get them in chests by both digging them up and possibly getting them in raids if there are chests in raids, like ship raids. Something that's fancy, which I'm sure a lot of people know about this, but devil fruits in Rell Seas will be a little different compared to the average devil fruit within any of these One Piece games. And I could give you a few examples on why I say that. The one example of it being different is Barrier, because Barrier has been confirmed that it can actually block attacks fully and it can be used as a fully defensive fruit and also a fully offensive fruit with even a custom weapon you can hold. Another custom unique thing with the devil fruit is the light fruit. Instead of having an OP light flight, which it does indeed have a flight of some kind, which leads into a combo starter, but instead of just having a flight, what it has is instant dashes. Your dashes will be instant and that will be your passive with your light. Another passive you have with light is that you have 4 sets of different type of M1s you can have, so those are the few unique things. But another cool thing about devil fruits is every devil fruit has some kind of finisher when you kill someone. Here's the lightning one. Even with all of this so far, which there's plenty of devil fruit sneaks I could show you, but sadly that's not what this video is about. There's a lot you can do with these devil fruits. They have a lot of utility and they are generally useful in both PvE, PvP, and just general quality of life. But of course, like what the game is meant to be designed, it's not meant to be designed with devil fruits in mind. So let's use this to transition into our next topic. Weapons. Weapons in this game, Rell Seas, is very different compared to weaponry that you'll see in other games. And that is because in Rell Seas, they have a class-based system on all the weapons, which change how you do your combat and your strategy in combat. If you're confused with what I mean, here's an example. Let's just say someone has a big sword, like a really big sword, right? Like Euro or something, like Mihawk. Then there's someone with 2 daggers, right? The player with 2 daggers would have the advantage up close because their weapons are faster, which means the swords of the weapons will clash less, which means the player with the daggers will just outspeed the player with the big sword, while the player with the big sword can simply outreach the daggers, which means he can hit them from a further distance. With weapons, the only confirmed way to get them is getting them as a boss drop or opening chests. Not a lot, but that's sadly all I can confirm here. When it comes to the class system, there are currently a few different classes when it comes to the weapons. There's the gun class, which has 3 subclasses of pistol, rifle, and currently minigun. There could be a guitar subclass, but sadly we don't know what the guitar does exactly, so we can't tell you what it does. But after that, there's also regular weapons, and those include big weapons like spears and great swords, medium weapons like katanas and short swords, and smaller weapons like a dagger. And the difference between all these weapons is all these weapons run at a different speed, which means they have different M1 patterns and they can reach you from different distances. Sadly with that, I don't think there's much other ways I can tell you about weapons, so I'll use this to transition into our next topic. Okay, let's talk about Haki now. When it comes to Haki, since not a lot has been explained on it, at least how to obtain it, I want to let you know before anything, there is no confirmed way how to obtain it. Everything that's been said on the internet is pure speculation and they have not confirmed a way to get Haki. But with that said, there is some kind of confirmed way with stats where you can affect your Haki by simply putting it in your spiritual stats on the side And we don't know what that does, but we do know that is related to Haki, because when it comes to the little Haki tab, the Haki tab is called the spiritual tab. So obviously if you add one to one together, they are relevant to each other in some kind of way. But yeah, let's go straight back into what the 3 type of Hakis are. With Armament Haki, it could be anything from as small as a 4% increase of damage to straight up changing how your abilities work. Like for example, this one over here where it creates a heavy attack which does more damage and does a knockback shockwave with it, which will be really useful for certain type of PvP scenarios. And also the same one over here where it increases your down slam AoE, which means you can attack more, and increases your posture damage and your victim lift, which means simply they will go slightly more away from you, which is again very useful for certain type of PvP and certain type of play styles. And now the second type of Haki, which is known as observation. When it comes to observation, it is straightforward and is purely based on time and what you can physically see. And if I mean time, I mean talking about stuff like future sight, where you can go ahead and dodge up to 8 of your opponent's attacks, which means you can put yourself in a scenario where you can possibly counter with your dodges. Or if you want a slight advantage of knowing where your opponent is, you could go ahead and use this other type of observation Haki card, where it can just straight up show you where your opponent is and use essentially just wall hacks. And if you want an advantage of knowing what your opponent is using, so you can go ahead and counter build their build, you can use this other type of observation Haki to sense their strengths and sense what they're using, sense how much health they have and how much stamina they have. And now for the third and the most powerful type of Haki, we're going to be talking about Conquerors. When it comes to Conquerors is really powerful because this over here will give you the edge on how you fight fruits and how much you can possibly debuff them. Like for example, you could go ahead and use this one over here, which infuses Conqueror's Haki into your combat, which means your Conqueror's Haki will just simply increase your damage output, which means you can hurt your opponent more and even faster with just pure power of your Haki. But let's just say you're in a losing scenario and you're with a bunch of friends on like a little crew battle. What you could do is you could use this other type of Haki over here, and it makes it so when you're knocked down, you have an AoE Haki blast that disables any kind of attackers for a total of 10 seconds while you're down, which means your teammates have 10 seconds in order to pick you up and move you to a safe zone and protect you while you recover up, though you won't be hit with a finisher. And now for the final Haki card for Conquerors, which is honestly the best type of Conqueror Haki you could possibly get, because it has the possibility of turning off your opponent's modes and putting them all into cooldown, which is obviously really powerful for battle, because that means if you're fighting against a leopard, a dragon, or any kind of Zoan, you can just straight up turn off their Zoan and stun them for a small period of time, which is really strong. But sadly with that, I can't say much more Haki because they haven't explained it yet. They might explain it in the next movie, which is meant to be coming out soon, so I'll be updating you with that. I guess with that, we can move on to the next topic. PvE/PvP combat. Honestly, this is very fancy because the combat itself, without any like things they added on, is very fancy because it includes a lot of up tilt and down tilts in the combos, and you can easily combo with fruits. Like for example, here's like a little combo that they did with gravity, and honestly, it is very cool. But they do have a minor bit of character customization when it comes to your combat and how it works. They call them posters and they can do several different things. There's this one called Geppo Master, which simply just give you more Geppo jumps. There's this other one called Alpha Clasher, which just makes you win M1 clashes, which is very nice. There's of course Flash Step, which I'll show you that on screen right now. But now here's probably one of the more cool things about this game, because normally in most games you're set with like, a certain type of M1 combo and you can't really change it. In this game, it's slightly different because it has 2 posters that can change your M1 combos, which is honestly very different, which I'll show you both of the changing of the M1 combos right here. I don't think there's much more last time I checked when it comes to combat outside of these. The only thing I can mention is that you want to make sure that all of your like posters and everything suits the current playstyle you have, including your weapon. But I guess of all of that, sadly, there's not a lot of information in the other categories. So for now, I'll end this here. If there are more information, they'll be in movie 3 and I'll give you an update upon that. But for now, I'll be going. So see you later, everyone. Have a good day, mate. And again, mate, have a good day and see ya.